Welcome back, children. So today we'll be discussing a few numericals which are related to Doppler's effect. Okay, and the second part is regarding polarization. Okay, in polarization we have Moll's law and Brevister's law. Based on that, we'll be looking into a few questions. So look at the first question here. A star is moving away from an observer with a speed of 500 km per second. The question is to calculate the Doppler shift if the wavelength of the light emitted by the star is 6000 angstroms. So we know in Doppler's effect of light, we have seen that change in wavelength to original wavelength, that means the wavelength emitted, should be equal to V radial divided by the speed of light. So here they are asking you to find out the change in wavelength. So delta lambda by, it is emitting a wavelength of 6000 angstroms. So 6000 into 10 power minus 10 meter is, speed of the star is already given, it's 500 kilometer. I'm converting kilometers to meter per second. And speed of light is 3 into 10 to the power 8. So find out what is the variation of wavelength or the Doppler shift in wavelength. 500 into 6000, 10 to the power minus 7 by 3 into 10 to the power 8. Simplified, 6 5s 30. Okay, so on simplification, you will get this value as 10 to the power minus 9, okay, which is 1 nanometer. So in this question also, they have given you a radar wave, okay, which is having a frequency of 8.1 into 10 power 9 hertz. The reflected wave shows a frequency difference of, okay, so they are not giving you the reflected frequency, difference in frequency. So the change in frequency is 2.7 into 10 to the power 3 hertz. And what is the original frequency? Frequency of radar is 8.1 into 10 to the power 9 hertz. The question is to find out the velocity of aeroplane in the line of sight. Again the same relation, okay, because speed is less, whenever speed of the particle is less when compared with speed of light, we use this equation. Delta nu by nu is equal to minus of delta lambda by lambda is V radial by speed of light. Okay, since your change in frequency is given, okay, the difference in frequency is given, delta nu is 2.7 into 10 power 3. Incident frequency is 8.1 into 10 to the power 9 should be equal to V is the speed of the aeroplane in the line of sight by 3 into 10 to the power 8. Almost all the questions will be using the same relation until and unless speed of the object is very high. Okay, we go for relativistic Doppler effect. So 2.7 into 10 power 3, 3 into 10 power 8 divided by 8.1 into 10 power 9. Simplify it. 1 by 3, even 3 gets cancelled. 10 to the power 8 plus 3 minus 9, that is 10 to the power 2 meter per second. This is the speed with which the aeroplane is approaching the object. Approaching or going away depends on whether frequency is increasing or decreasing. So this is the speed of that particular object. Okay, these two questions are also related to the Doppler's effect, making use of the same relation. What speed should a galaxy move with respect to us so that sodium light of 589 nanometer is observed to be 589.6 nanometer? See, from the question you can make out the change in wavelength is 0.6 nanometer. Okay, it is supposed to be 589, but it is changing to 589.6. Since it is increasing, if wavelength is increasing, we can say that the galaxy is moving away or there is expansion. So delta lambda by lambda is V radial by C, or V is equal to 0.6 by 589 into 3 into 10 to the power 8. That is 6 3 is 18, 1.8 by 589, I'll write it 5.89 into 10 power 8 by 10 power 2. Okay, simplify this relation, approximate value Okay, if you approximate it as 6, 0.3 into 10 to the power 6 meter per second. Then the next question, the spectral line for a given element of light is received from a distant star, is shifted towards longer wavelength. Again, if there is a shift towards longer wavelength, implies it's moving away. If wavelength increases, object is moving away. If wavelength decreases, object is moving towards. So it is shifting towards longer wavelength by a percentage value. So they have given you change in value to original value into 100. The percentage change as 0.025 implies delta lambda by lambda is 0.025 by 100. And we know from Doppler's phenomenon, this should be equal to V by C. So what should be the speed of the star? 0.025 into 3 into 10 power 8 by 100. Or V is equal to 75, 10 to the power 5 minus 2. That is 75 into 10 power 3. Okay, here I'll write 75 kilometer per second. Okay, these two questions are related to Brevester's law, polarization. The unpolarized light is incident on a plane glass. What should be the angle of incidence so that reflected and refracted rays are perpendicular to each other? So this is a conceptual question. If you take the refractive index of glass as mu2 with respect to air, so what is the Brevester's law telling you? If reflected and refracted rays are perpendicular to each other, tangent of angle of polarization should be equal to mu2 divided by mu1, where mu2 is the refractive index of glass with respect to air. So if you know the refractive index of glass with respect to air, then what should be the angle of incidence? IP should be equal to tan inverse of mu21. Okay, this is a basic level question. The similar question, velocity of light in air is given and that in water is given as 2.0 into 10 power 8. Find the polarizing angle. Okay, just now I told you what is polarizing angle, tan IP equal to refractive index of denser medium, that's water, by refractive index of air. And we know refractive index is inversely related to speed. Speed of light in air by speed of light in water. That is 3 into 10 power 8 divided by 2 into 10 power 8. Simplify 3 by 2. So angle of polarization should be tan inverse of 3 by 2. Okay, look at this question. This is based on Moll's law. Hope you remember the Moll's law. When unpolarized light passes through a Polaroid, its intensity reduces to half. Whereas when polarized light is passed through a Polaroid, okay, which is making an angle theta with the with the axis of the polarizer, then IA is equal to I naught into cos square theta. I repeat, intensity of light emitting from an analyzer is incident intensity into cos square theta. Theta is the angle between axis of polarizer and analyzer. Now look at this question. They have given you 4 polarized are so placed such that the transmission axis of each is inclined with the other by an angle of 30 degrees with the previous one in the same direction. If unpolarized light of intensity I naught falls on the first Polaroid, then what is the intensity of the light emerging from the last? So if I just represent the Polaroids by lines like this, we have altogether 4 Polaroids. I'll name them as P1, P2, P3 and P4. So the first one, we are giving a light unpolarized and this is having an intensity I naught. We know after passing through the first polarizer, intensity reduces to half, I naught by 2. Now P2 and P1 are inclined by 30 degrees because each one is inclined by 30 degrees with the previous. So if the first and second are inclined by 30 degrees, what is the intensity emerging from P2? It should be I naught by 2 into cos square 30. Okay, that is nothing but I naught by 2 into root 3 by 2 whole square. I'll write root 3 by 4. Is it 3 I naught by 8? This is the intensity coming out of P2. Now P2 and P3 are also making an angle of 30 degrees in the same direction. So here emerging intensity will be 3 I naught by 8 into cos square 30. Again cos square 30, I'll write 3 by 4. Then from P4, this value into cos square 30. That is 9 I naught by 8 fourths. 32 into 3 by 4. So what is the intensity emerging from P4? Intensity of light emerging from P4 is 9 threes. 27 I naught by 32 into 4. 128. So the intensity emerging from the fourth polarizer, which is inclined at 30 degrees with the previous, will be 27 by 128 times of I naught. Okay, here two polarites are crossed at each other. If one of them is rotated through 60 degrees, what percentage of incident polarized light will be transmitted by the polaroid? Okay, look at the question carefully. When two polarides are crossed with each other, okay, the meaning of crossed is they are placed perpendicular to each other. Say if this is the first axis of the P1, second one is into the plane of the paper, which is perpendicular to it. Okay, if one of them is rotated, see if you rotate P2 by 60 degrees, it will make an angle of 30 degrees with the first one. So what is the angle between P1 and P2 after rotation? It is not 60, remember it is 30, because you have rotated by 60, existing angle will be 30. So what percentage of incident unpolarized light? Say this is unpolarized. After passing through P1, it becomes I naught by 2. This into cos square 30. This is the intensity of the light coming out of analyzer, the second prism. So what is IA equal to? I naught by 2 cos square 30, that's 3 by 4. Since answer is in percentages, IA by I naught is 3 by 8. So percentage value will be 3 by 8 into 100. 3 into 12.5, 15, 37.5%. So 37.5% is transmitted by the polaroids. Okay, one more question related to Moll's law. Two polaroids P1 and P2 are placed in crossed position. Just now I told you crossed position in the sense they are perpendicular to each other. Axes are perpendicular. If this is P1, P2 is actually into the plane of the paper. Angle between axis of P1 and axis of P2 is 90. Now what are we doing? A third polaroid P3 is kept between P1 and P2 such that axis of P3 is initially parallel to P1. So this is P3. How would the intensity of light I2 transmitted through P2? Okay, we want how is this I2 changing by rotating this P3. So initially when it's parallel to P1, if your incident intensity is I naught, this will become I naught by 2. So what is the output? If they are parallel to each other, this will also be I naught by 2. And since they are parallel, perpendicular to each other, this and this are perpendicular to each other, intensity output will become 0. Now I started rotating P3 either clockwise or anti-clockwise. How will this intensity change? If I rotate it with an angle theta, angle between P1 and P3 if it is theta, angle between P3 and P2 will become 90 minus theta. Again I repeat, suppose I have rotated the second polaroid through an angle theta. It makes an angle theta with P1, 90 minus theta with P2. Now I will write the equation. Unpolarized light's intensity is I naught. After passing through P1, it becomes I naught by 2. After passing through P3, which is making an angle theta with it, okay, you will get the intensity as I naught by 2 cos square theta. Now after passing through this prism, that means third polaroid, P2 polaroid, intensity will be, after passing through P2, the transmitted light, because they have represented it as I2 in the question, I'm writing it as I2, is incident intensity. This is incident. I naught by 2 cos square theta into cos square 90 minus theta. And we know cos square 90 minus theta is sin square theta, or I2 is equal to I naught by 2 cos square theta sin square theta. I'm just simplifying it, multiply and divide with 4, okay, so that you can express it in terms of sin 2 theta. I2 is equal to I naught by 8, 2 sin theta cos theta will be sin 2 theta whole square. This is how intensity of transmitted light is varying with theta. Since they asked you to plot a graph of I2 versus theta, look at the value. Okay, 45, 90, 135, 180 and so on. Since it is varying according to the value of sin 2 theta and you have a square, no negative value is permitted, what should be the nature of the graph? When theta is 0, it starts from 0, becomes maximum at 45 degrees, again becomes 0 at 90, increases to maximum at 135, becomes 0, and this is going to repeat. So this is how intensity is varying with theta. Now look at this question. The question is a bit lengthy, but try to understand it. Two beams of A and B of plane polarized light. Now this time they are giving you a plane polarized light, not unpolarized. So two beams A and B of plane polarized light with mutually perpendicular planes of polarization. Say for A, if I take the electric field parallel to the plane of the paper, then for B, electric field is perpendicular to the plane of the paper. So they are having planes perpendicular to each other. Then it is passed through a Polaroid from a position when A is maximum. Okay, if I represent a Polaroid by a hexagon, we know when will intensity of A be maximum? If the axis, pass axis, is parallel to your electric field. So this is the position of the Polaroid. For the same position, in case of second light, okay, this is A and this is B, let this intensity be IA and this is having an intensity IB. So here your output will be 0 because a plane axis of pass axis is perpendicular to electric field, output intensity is 0 according to Moll's law. Then they are saying that if the Polaroid is rotated by 30 degrees from the first one, okay, from this position, if I rotate the Polaroid by 30 degrees, so it makes an angle of 30 degrees with the electric field in case of A. But second one, it will make an angle of 60 degrees. Okay, since the electric field is into the plane of the board, if I rotate it by 30 degrees, angle made will become 90 minus 30, that is 60. After rotating, the intensity of the emerging beams are equally bright. So what is the intensity emerging from the first one? IA, incident intensity, cos square 30. I'll call this as IA dash. IB for the second one, cos square 60. Let this be IB dash. So they're saying they are appearing equally bright. So IA dash must be equal to IB dash. Equate them. IA by IB. IA cos square 30 is IB cos square 60. Should be cos square 60 by cos square 30. Okay, we know cos 60 is 1 by 2. Square of it will be 1 by 4 and cos square 30. Okay, what is the value of cos square 30? Root 3 by 2 whole square, 3 by 4. What should your ratio be? 1:3. Okay, there is a beam of unpolarized light whose intensity is I0 is passing through a Polaroid A, and then it is passing through another Polaroid B, which is oriented so that its plane makes an angle of 45 degrees relative to A. What is the intensity of the emergent light? Okay, how to get the intensity? It's a basic level question on Moll's law. If this is the first Polaroid, second one is inclined by 45 degrees. This is 45. If your incident intensity is I0, unpolarized, reduces to half after passing through it. I0 by 2 into cos square 45. So what is the intensity of the light coming from the analyzer? I0 by cos 45 is 1 by root 2 whole square, that's 1 by 2. 2 into 2, it will become 1 by 4. So 25% of the light is emerging, 75% is not coming out.